More than 100 students at Talent Middle School are having to quarantine at home. Thanks for joining us on NewsWatch 12 at 4. I'm Brian Morton. A handful of Talent Middle School football players tested positive for COVID-19, resulting in their classmates having to stay home, and that is the reason for the quarantine. NewsWatch 12's Adam Shooms has been at Phoenix Talent School District administrators and joining us now with an update. Adam, what can you tell us about that situation?
Yeah, Brian, good afternoon. Well, it's something that no school district wants to go through, having to quarantine kids due to a COVID-19 outbreak. But that's what Superintendent Brett Berry tells me is basically inevitable at this point due to the amount of cases that we're seeing in Jackson County. But he assures me that his school district will do everything they can to make sure something like this does not happen again by following all the necessary protocols that are put in place. Now, let's break this all down for you. School administrators found out on Monday morning that 3 members of the Talent Middle School football team, Brian, like you mentioned, tested positive for COVID-19 over the weekend. Oregon school protocols are more lenient for quarantine when students are wearing masks. Students playing sports are allowed to do so without masks or consistent social distancing, meaning that quarantines are more extensive when they do catch COVID-19. As a result, everyone on the school football team were considered exposed and presumptive positive. By the end of the process, about 103 students were quarantined. Around 50 to 55 of those students were exposed in the school, and another 40 were football players.
We know this is a possibility, and we plan to make sure we have procedures in place to be able to respond to this. When we hear that number of students potentially exposed, we start working through the process. And, we do know that 23 students who were exposed do not have to quarantine because they were fully vaccinated. And so that knocks that number down quite a bit.
Talent Middle School has 486 students in total, meaning that the quarantine currently impacts more than a fifth of the student body. Almost 24 additional students were exposed but did not have to quarantine because they're vaccinated, like Brett Berry mentioned, and 4 of the others because they had tested positive for the virus within 90 days. Now, there's 2 different options for quarantine goes. One is that 14-day period, which is recommended by public health officials. Another is a 10-day quarantine period. You can read more about that period on our website, kdrv.com. Well, you do the math, the outbreak started about September 9th, give or take. That looks about having these students back in the classroom anywhere between September 20th and September 23rd. Obviously, this is a developing story, and we're going to continue to learn more details as we know them. You can find more on our website, kdrv.com. But for now, we're live outside of Talent Middle School tonight. I'm Adam Shooms, NewsWatch 12.